The summer air hung heavy around Mark, thick and humid, clinging to his skin as he stood on the cracked sidewalk outside the town hall. The biting words of the young council member Ethan echoed relentlessly in his mind. "He's a better leader than you'll ever be." Laughter, sharp, mocking, rippling through the small crowd gathered on the patchy lawn of the town square. For 15 long years, Mark had poured every ounce of his soul into this fading mill town, organizing festivals, repairing the community center, mentoring kids who had nowhere else to turn. Yet now they dismissed him as irrelevant, a relic of a past era, branding his tireless efforts as outdated and futile. He offered a slight nod, glanced down at his watch, then turned away from the square, where forced smiles mingled with the clinking of cheap plastic cups filled with lukewarm lemonade. Mayor Clara, engrossed in the company of Tom Bradley, the flashy newcomer who dazzled the town with promises of prosperity, didn't even notice his departure. The sun slipped beneath the horizon as Mark walked toward his weathered pickup truck. He didn't look back. The grief that mattered most had come earlier that day, when he uncovered the truth. Now he was the only one mourning the town's lost soul. 15 years ago, Mark had returned to Willow Creek, his childhood home, after a decade spent in the city as a software engineer. The mill had shut down, leaving boarded-up storefronts and families struggling to pay their bills. Where others saw decay, Mark saw possibility. He swapped his sleek office tower for a cramped desk inside the community center, dedicating himself to writing grants for new playgrounds, organizing job fairs, and teaching coding to local teenagers. He bypassed promotions to stay rooted in Willow Creek, burning the midnight oil drafting proposals to save the library or repair the aging bridge over Miller's Creek. Brick by brick, he rebuilt the community, while others quietly corroded it with greed and apathy. At first, Mark didn't notice the cracks beneath the surface. Hope can blind you to the fractures that widen with every passing day. Mayor Clara's economic development meetings grew more frequent, but no new businesses ever opened. Her perfume lingered on council agendas, plans that never saw the light of day beyond the conference room. Ethan, the bright kid Mark had mentored, stopped calling him Mr. Thompson, now addressing him with a smirk, simply as Mark, as if he were just another forgotten face in a dying town. Mark said nothing. Silence is often mistaken for surrender. Clara and Tom believed that, but they were wrong. The truth struck on a stormy night. Rain hammered the roof of the community center as Clara's laptop, left open during a budget meeting, buzzed incessantly with notifications. A name flashed, Tom Bradley, followed by a $sign. Mark's eyes scanned the screen, absorbing every damning detail. 2 years of secret emails outlining plans to siphon grant money into private accounts, fake bids for a so-called revitalization project designed to bulldoze the park for condos. They intended to unveil their scheme at the town's annual Founders' Day celebration, discrediting Mark as a washed-up dreamer. Clara's message stung with condescension. Mark won't fight back. He's too soft. She was right about one thing. He didn't make scenes. He made plans. For 6 relentless months, Mark worked in the shadows. He met discreetly with state auditors, sharing evidence of misallocated funds. He reconnected with old colleagues in the tech world, securing donations to launch a community tech hub. Every email Clara sent, every forged contract Tom signed, every receipt for consulting fees paid to phantom firms, he documented it all. He hired a forensic accountant and a lawyer who worked pro bono for struggling small towns. Quietly, carefully, he rallied the community, meeting shop owners, teachers, and parents in their living rooms, building trust without drawing suspicion. The day before Founders' Day, he struck. Mark filed a whistleblower report with the state, submitted a grant proposal for a community-owned solar farm, and organized a youth coding boot camp funded by his city contacts. Clara and Tom remained oblivious, too busy plotting their grand reveal, still convinced Mark was irrelevant. On Founders' Day they were bold, loud, arrogant. "Tom's the future of Willow Creek," Ethan declared. 15 years of Mark's ideas got us nowhere, Clara scoffed, resting her hand possessively on Tom's arm. Mark smiled calmly, checking his watch. 6:45 p.m., right on schedule. By 7 p.m., state investigators swarmed the town hall, seizing Clara's laptop. By 8 p.m., local news outlets broke the story, allegations of embezzlement in Willow Creek. By 9 p.m., Tom's consulting firm was exposed as a shell company. The next morning, Mark sat on the community center steps, coffee warming his hands, watching the sunrise paint the sky in hues of gold. Headlines screamed, "Mayor linked to grant fraud scheme. Developers' revitalization plan exposed as scam." Clara's face was splashed across every regional paper. His phone buzzed with texts from townsfolk who had ignored him at the festival. Didn't know you were fighting for us. You okay? He didn't reply. Let them talk. Let them remember the moment he walked away without a word. Ethan hadn't reached out. At 20 he was still dazzled by flash and empty promises. But one day Ethan would see the public records, learn who funded the library, who saved the park, who stayed silent while being dismissed. Maybe he'd understand. Maybe not. Mark was done chasing approval. Last week, the community center's tech hub opened, powered by the solar farm. The old piano from the music room, untouched by Clara's schemes, sat in the corner. Mark played it sometimes haltingly but enough to feel whole. People often asked him what redemption felt like. It wasn't grand speeches or fleeting praise. It was the quiet hum of a town coming alive. Kids coding in the hub. Families picnicking in the saved park. A community standing taller because one man refused to let it fall. Mark didn't fight for revenge. He built. And when the moment came, he stepped forward first. Because sometimes, the truest redemption is giving everything to those who doubted you, just before they see what you've created.